everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Sherry Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. Got a wonderful panel tonight and so excited about our topic. We're going to be talking about, well, it's Black History Month, so we invited Shelley Murphy.
I'm African American and other things.
And other things. Anyway, she's going to be talking to us about the Freedmen's Bureau. But before we get into that and how to search it on full text search, that's what I wanted to know. We've got Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hello, Laura.
Hi, y'all.
Glad you're here. We have got Mary Kircher Roddy from Genealogy. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Cheri. Marbles in your mouth today.
I guess. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
And the cold is still really cold in South Carolina. Oh gosh, we've got Melissa Barker, as she has, aka the archive lady. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, everybody over here in Tennessee where we're still buried in very thick ice.
She's still freezing as well.
Yes.
I got that Jenny Hawran from Like Her and Cats Genealogy. Are you still freezing, Jenny?
Yeah, it's cold here, but we're okay. We're all right.
Y'all are used to it. Y'all are used to it.
We are.
We're Shelley's kind of used to it. Y'all get snow way more than Tennessee or South Carolina do.
Yeah, I left this stuff back in 78. So
Ugh.
and came south and have been south ever since then.
And then we've got Laura in Michigan. So it's like she's
that's where I came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Shelley, I can't take up this thing's time, but I had such adventures in frozen West Michigan with a U-Haul truck this weekend.
Yes, you did. And the frozen, frozen.
I'll have to tell you off because yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Things get cold. The locks freeze up. My son's car lock froze up. I mean, just things happen. So anyway,
my car has not started, and they were supposed to. The guy was going to do the driveway today. He hasn't done it.
Oh gosh!
But he does. Yeah, all over the place, and I'm the neighbor, so don't worry about it not going anywhere. Well, I've got a food order coming tomorrow. I'm going to cancel because he hasn't been able to get to it. But I think I better go out and start my car.
And then here's Mary. Mary's like, "What's wrong with you people? I'm nice."
So the last 2 nights, no, last night I did need it, but a couple nights I haven't even needed a hot water bottle, and I always sleep with it like 2 hot water bottles. So.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Goodness! Wow! I mean, we're all facing our weather challenges, aren't we? we've all got something. Well, I asked Shelley if she would come talk to us about the Freedmen's Bureau, and since full text search now has it available to use on full text search, I asked her to help us too to understand why the record's important, where you can find it, how to search it.
Don't tell too much because I'm getting ready to tell
That's right. Oh, I'm not telling. I'm just saying this is what she's going to do, and tell us how to search for it on full text search.
So first, I'm going to give a little background. Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to give a little bit of background first, and then I'm going to go to FamilySearch, and some of this is stuff some of people will know and others will not know. Am I good to go?
You're good. Looks great.
All right. So we are talking about the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, aka RG 105. And it's basically finding African Americans and others, but before 1870. So what you're looking at on the right is actually the act that got the Bureau going and everything. And I'll talk about what that is. So I want to introduce you to it. First thing, it's a federal record. So right after the Civil War, they created the Bureau. And what they did is set up field offices throughout the South. And I'll say it that way. And I'll show that online. And I'll look at either mapping the Freedmen's Bureau or the Black Pearls of Genealogy. Both of them are excellent resources. So again, I point out that it's a federal record. The military are operating the field offices per se. And I've been told recently that there's now up to 3.7 million images in this collection.
Wow.
So I don't want people to keep thinking about this 1870 brick wall that people keep saying African Americans can't find their family. There's records.
Yeah.
Right here is just one example of records. And all of us have, researched different lines in different communities. So if you can do that, you will find people and whoever is there. So it gets created. The official date is March 3rd, 1865. And it's basically set up like social services, a relief organization. And so they've got education, healthcare. People can come get food. They can get jobs. For Virginia and other states, there was a legitimizing of marriages. And a lot of
I'm going to mute my puppy's whining.
Okay. And so legitimizing of marriages, labor contracts, and so forth. But another primary source that they are for us as researchers is they were assisting the United States Colored Troops, or the USCTs, and also the sailors. That also included their heirs and so forth. So what that means, if people think they had soldiers or volunteers or whoever that were involved in the Civil War, this would be another stop. So I want to come back to the title. It's the Bureau of Refugees. And remember, federal record. The refugees are white people. The freedmen are formerly enslaved people. And abandoned lands are folks that would have left their property, abandoned their land, and either the Bureau or the Union or whoever came in and acquired the land, and etc. And I'll just leave it as there. But there's letters and also sources that look at that. So there's also, we know the collection is from 1865 to 1872. But there's pre-Bureau records for the state of Mississippi, the state of Louisiana, and Fort Monroe, Virginia. And they begin about 1863. So there's other records in there. There's destitute records, healthcare records, transportation records. And also I want to clarify, this is record group 105. But there is a record group called the Freedman's, MAN, Savings and Trust, or the bank records. That is record group 101. It is a separate collection, but definitely a companion collection to use with research in 105. But there's also a microfilm 816 that if people are researching the bank records, they can get register of signatures of people that deposited. And then I'll show you those two sites which connect right in to FamilySearch. So next, I want you to look at the right. That's the locations of the states that had field offices and their microfilm in the number. So you see the M1900 Alabama and so forth. And I will say as a side note that West Virginia became West Virginia June 20th, 1863. There was a field office in Harper's Ferry. So, and it only covered a couple counties. But those records got sent to the Maryland, Delaware office. So there's not a separate, say, field office like we'll see on FamilySearch, like you see here on the left, that will say West Virginia. So just know those records are in another folder. So if you look down at the green arrow, that says Virginia, Freedman office. So you can look at any of the states on the right by doing what I call a cheat way I get to things, is I can say FamilySearch, Virginia Freedmen's Bureau records. FamilySearch, I'm in Google now. FamilySearch, Arkansas, Freedmen's Bureau records. And the top 5 things that come up will take you right in to FamilySearch and so forth. You can also do that with the word ancestry. and it goes right directly to the collection. So for some people that might be quicker and easier than us doing our total login, but you're going to log in anyway. So coming back to here, so you see the green arrow, and then you see the black arrow, and it says United States. That's a different level, and I'll tell you that in a second, because now you're seeing all of the states where with the green arrow, you saw the individual where you can look, but the other one is at a different level. Remember,
Gotcha.
we're talking about military.
Gotcha.
Okay, so how many microfilm rolls did each of these states have? So you see number one is Virginia.
Wow.
Yes, Kentucky, then Louisiana, and so forth. Those are microfilm rolls. So a lot of times I begin with Virginia and to see what they have, and then go if I'm looking in Tennessee or South Carolina or so forth. But I wanted people to see why that's a good example to follow. Plus, you had the location of Fort Monroe that had those pre-Bureau records because there were contraband camps set up.
Wow.
So look on the left. Those are
Wait,
the types.
Can I stop you,
things.
Shelley?
Yes.
I don't understand why it's a good strategy to search Virginia first.
Because they have
depend on where you're
200.
at? What
Say it again.
Does it not depend on like the area you already know you're searching?
We use Virginia because we know they and I say we, and I'm talking about Freedmen Friday, which just a bunch of folks from all over the country hang out, and we're just going through these images. But Virginia, typically, this all started Freedmen Friday with me researching, trying to get, find records for the research I'm doing. But they had the most rolls, and a lot of times things are named differently. Even though this is federal, each individual field office could have different things. So looking at the one that has the most rolls, I can go now check Mississippi and say, hey, do they have this?
So in other words, you're looking at Virginia to get examples.
Just to get examples, plus it's for my research.
Yeah.
So I just use that as a go. But you can go directly to where you research.
Because you know me, I'm heading straight to South Carolina.
Exactly. But I do want to make one thing as far as the research. And again, you want to look more at community research. And again, I'm 90% of what I'm doing for my job is pretty much I'm researching European, and then I'm researching, people enslaved or free or so forth. So again, a lot of times I have to come up with different strategies and how I approach that. And now I start looking at the whole community and not just going in with a surname, this, that, and other, because they change.
Gotcha.
So looking at this slide, so we're almost done with here, and then we can go live on here. On the left is a list of the type of records you will see throughout the Freedmen's Bureau. That's any state, any location, and that's just a tip. That's just some. But what's on the right-hand side is the type of information that is on those records. And of course, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for ages. We're looking for locations, birth dates, marriages, and so forth. And also, and I will show one tonight, a Virginia record where the people added more information, and you'll see the former marriages and the children. And so again, but I can go in another state and I see the marriage record, but I don't see the additional information. So again, I see where I know Virginia, and then the other states that I research, I'm trying to see, can I find the same things? So anyway, so the list on the right is the type of information that is in these records. So understanding that it's military, there's an organizational order. So if I start at the bottom, well, it doesn't matter. Start at the top, headquarters, of course, DC. Then you've got the state level, which is the assistant commissioner level. That is where everybody else reports to the state. So if you're in the field office, which could be cities, towns, counties, or in a district under the sub-assistant commissioner, then anything that they're doing pretty much gets reported to the assistant commissioner. So again, there's another set of records there. All right. What NARA did, which is fabulous, the staff, so thank you, staff, each of the states have what they call a descriptive pamphlet. And this is the microfilm number, and it tells you the state. All of them have an introduction, and it tells the whole background on the Bureau and so forth. But what's unique about this, it tells who's in charge as far as at the state level, and then down to the field office, it tells you. So if Virginia had 203 rolls on microfilm 1913, in the descriptive pamphlet, I can go to the contents in there and start with row 1 and go all the way to row 203. So I know kind of what I'm looking for, or that's my reference back if I see something online and I don't know what it is. And so my thing is, okay, let me go to the descriptive pamphlet and see if there's information that will help guide me either somewhere else. Another unique thing is sometimes I can be looking in Tennessee and I might find a South Carolina record.
Oh.
So you had these agents that could have moved throughout.
Gotcha.
You know, and records, whatever the change is. And we've come across those. I want to give one quick example talking about the transportation records and then go to onto FamilySearch. King Street, South Carolina. We have people in Texas that said, I've got people that were born in South Carolina. We're researching, trying to find out why did they come to Texas. There was a labor contract under transportation records of 430 some people, all listed, their names. They were all now free people, all listed. We were on a Freedmen Friday one night, and a lady said, "Is this it?" She found the actual transportation record that relocated 34 people from King Street, South Carolina.
That's the King Street, isn't it? Yes.
And so they got a monument up with all of those names.
Yes, they do.
And the sister monument is going up in Texas. So anyway, all right, let me go online and get FamilySearch. And I'm going to assume people are not familiar with this. So I'm going to take the opportunity to say, let me share my screen. Otherwise, I'll be talking to myself. But what I want to show you is 2 websites before I go into FamilySearch. So this is mapping site, and this is strictly the Bureau, nothing else. This is called Mapping the Freedmen's Bureau. And again, they've got the guides or descriptive pamphlets on here, sample documents. Tony Carrier and Angela Watton-Raji developed this site.
They worked so hard, didn't they?
They
beautiful.
did.
Amazing.
And look that's the field offices. But on this site, you're also going to have the Freedmen Bank records, U.S. CT battle sites, and the slave and freedmen of Indian Territory. So there's other maps apparently that's not showing up on my site, plus the hospitals. And what they did was they just put icons locating so you would know if it was a hospital, a school, contraband camp. There's a school. So, and I'm going to go like this. I tap it, white box comes up, and then it could link me right to where I want to go. Let me get, this is Wilkesboro, North Carolina, Freedmen's Bureau, and it's hyperlinked microfilm 1909, row 65. So that will take me right into wherever the record is at. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be FamilySearch. So I'm just going to pull up another one. Just to show as an example, I'm going to have to sign in to the free account on FamilySearch. So if people listening are not on FamilySearch, So now, and mine went right to Virginia because that's where I was at. So I wanted to show this because this is Virginia's Freedmen's Bureau. And you can see there's the descriptive pamphlet. And I am going to open it up just to see so you can see just the title sheet and everything. So let me go back. The mapping site and the other side, I'll show you all. You can download them. So these are the locations where the field offices were at.
There's a lot of them.
Yes. And again, remember, Virginia's got the most roles.
Right.
And so I'm going to give a quick, I'm looking for Louisa. Assistant, sub-assistant. So this is row 103, 104. So FamilySearch split these all up. And here is 104, and there's other things on there. So I just wanted to show you, since I referenced a marriage record, I just want to show you how wonderful these things are. So I tell people there's your images, you can download them. You got the thumbnail, you know, all of this kind of
So the marriage records are going to be up a level and not in the actual state level.
They're going to be,
Or
this
at least
is
they
from
are
the
for
field
Virginia.
office. Field office.
Okay. Okay.
Field office.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So I just want to show a record and then I'll go and do full text looking. So again, it's regular search, just so there's no hidden secrets or anything. We got 62 images. And I want to just make sure folks understand you're looking at a book.
Yeah.
Where did that get created? Was not in Salt Lake City. That got created in the local area, at the local courthouse. This is a Louisa County courthouse. That book got scanned or copied in whatever. So that's the importance of knowing to do that local research also, rather than just hitting on what's online, because not everything is there. So what I want to do is go in here real quick just to give you guys an idea. I love these records. This is probably my favorite site. The Smithsonian, just so they know, there is a transcribing indexing project going on now. So here is a register of colored persons in Louisa County, Virginia, who have been cohabitating as man and wife, who are now, according to the Commonwealth of Virginia, as of February 27, now they can show up and be legally married like everybody else. So look at what we're getting: husband's name, wife's name and age, his occupation, and the location. But look at this: Philip Cohen, 50, Sarah, 35, farmer, had a previous wife, ding, 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 had a son by her, now living.
Wow.
Albert, 25, recognized as such.
Wow.
Wow, that is amazing for people who think they can't get their family back before 1870. Wow.
Look at this one. Warner Jackson, 49, Zook, 39, farmer. Look, had a former wife, Jane, had a girl by her who, when about 4 years old, was sold away into Missouri there 8 years ago. Now think about somebody researching in Missouri and they know their mama or somebody came from Virginia.
Yes.
Wow.
This might be well. So that's just one example.
That's
so let me
amazing.
go back. And there's tons. The other thing is looking at the Bureau, and I didn't pull up the whole, but I will on the next site. So let me stay in here right quick. So under full text search, you know, they've got it separated out now. You can get it under search, go to full text, or go to full text here. So it doesn't matter. It's just get there, or you do it that cheat way and stuff. So I'm going to put full text search, and who did we just look at? Philip Cohen. I think he had one L. Philip Cohen. Cowan. But now I'm doing it my way. You got to
Okay.
get Julie Anderson on here. You want to search this way.
No. Your way's a good way.
I'm just telling you.
I see what you're doing. Okay.
Louisa County. And again, this could be for whites, blacks, anybody. This, and again, I'm in these records all the time. I could put a name in here, but I'm looking just for a colored person named Philip Cohen.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to hit search. And we know there's a marriage record, right? Because I just showed
we just
you that
saw it.
first.
So it should come
So
up.
there's 15,000. So I can go in and edit and shrink this down and all of that, which again, look at, you don't need to go through here because you can filter.
Uh-huh.
And that's the main, whoop, did I not hit? I want to filter. I did hit edit.
If you go, I think if you go down a little bit and do by collection or by year.
There we
There
go.
you go.
That's
So the collection in United States Freedmen's Bureau, but look at the date range. 1734 to 1968. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
I don't know what that's going to bring. I have no idea.
There were Freedmen Bureau records at that time, so that's interesting.
Exactly. So anyway, we got Freedmen's Bureau record, already know 1865 to 1866 for this record. And again, this is United States. That's why I pointed out the difference, right? But what's popping up is, remember I used the word color, right? So look at what's filtering. So see, you can eliminate a lot of that in your full text search. Here, picking up Louisa, Gordonsville is in Louisa. So I know this is Virginia, but I'm at that assistant commissioner level. Gotcha. So again, there's ways to filter these things out. So I just wanted to show to go in and everything. Wow, and cool. We could filter more out, but we're going through this and I want to do it in a timely manner. So we got education records. So let me go. I want to go one other place just on the side here because this is called the Black Pearls of Genealogy.
We've had him on. Yes, we did.
Yes. Did he talk about the Freedmen's Bureau? I not here?
He just talked about the different things on the site. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, they put up that monument. That's part of what they do.
Yes.
But this is the Freedmen's Bureau, and I wanted to show this. You got all of the descriptive pamphlets that are on here. You see the field offices with the microfilm number. You also see intro to the Freedmen's Bureau, but I want to point out microfilm M2029. That is the closing of the Bureau. So that will be 1872 to 1878. Another gold mine worth of information because along with the education, labor contracts, ration records, the Freedmen's Bureau also had their own court. And I mean court. People can file complaints and the Bureau, is there to help fight, settle them and this, that, and other. So anything that's outstanding that's not done, think military, if you got a beginning, there's got to be an end.
Okay.
So you have to keep researching. So I wanted you to see the links to the pre-Bureau records there. And then you got the bank records you can see on the other side, the orders and this, that, and other, the bank, Freedmen's Village. So I'm just going to go to South Carolina.
Yay.
which background, there is a map, just like the other site had, right? And where are you at?
I do a lot of research in Sumter. I'm in Horry County, but I don't have anybody in Horry County. So go to Sumter.
Well, my point is just here's Sumter. Hit the dot.
Yep.
And it tells you what's there.
Great.
To go right into the site. So since you had David on, there's been changes.
Okay.
There's been updates.
So
a map is always good.
Always.
And here's the descriptive pamphlet. So I just wanted to give an idea of how to use that, because I highly recommend that people actually, there it is, I passed it, that people actually look at the descriptive pamphlet. And then we'll go back to FamilySearch, take a quick glimpse at it. But anyway, this is the descriptive pamphlet that the staff at NARA did. And like I said, everybody, it tells how many roles, background, history of the organization, the whole 9 yards, all that good stuff. But what I wanted to do, so close your eyes because I'm going to scroll. I'm going to scroll. So I'm sorry. You know, we all have experience with scrolling.
Yes.
Because of the old microfilms.
Oh,
but
yeah. Pretend we're cranking.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So what I wanted to get to was content. And I should be coming up. Okay. So here it is. Table of contents. So they had X amount of rows for this descriptive pamphlet. So look, row 1, what is there? Row 2, other records, registered or contract. So you're getting a glimpse of actually what is going to be on the microfilm. And so this is a good tool. Here's more of row 2. And look, letters, registered letters, and it tells you how they're formatted. Well, formatted in the collection and things like that. Plus, this is a PDF. So that means I'm on a Mac. I can't remember on my PC, but Control F, I can search words on this document.
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm looking for labor contracts or something like that, I could go up and do labor, and look, there it goes highlighting, and there's 85 matches. So I can find out, where am I looking? What are they saying? What's going on? The Bureau in the field office level was there to negotiate those labor contracts. Okay, so let me go back to FamilySearch, and well, I went through, let me do another one. Search, go to full text. And I'm just gonna, somebody give me a name or something. And some of the records, it will identify them as being of color, or it's going to identify them as being white. And so you have to be able to look. The labor contracts is another one. And I'm going to let me do a labor contract right quick. Let me think of somebody that I know I can go right to. I guess
that's the thing. I don't want to give you a name and then we can't find it. So
yeah, I'm trying.
That way we actually know the record's going to come up.
Let me do this way. Bert Watson. He's going to be, and I'm going to do Virginia. And do we see Virginia right here? 17. And another thing is to pay attention to the date, 1776, when I'm looking. So Edbert Watson, I just stuck his name in there, and it's not in the top. So look what comes up. Just background. He was a judge, a lawyer. He was one of the slave owners that rented people to UVA for the building of UVA. Okay. So you're seeing Chancery Court records. And so if I wanted, I could go to the collection and identify the Freedmen's Bureau. Right. See, I know he did labor contracts. Yes. That's why I was thinking of him. Other than that, you are looking at 24,000 unless you filter this.
So that's a good way. That's a good way, Shelley, if you're trying to find the enslaver, is to start plugging those names in. Everybody you know that was an enslaver in a community, plug their names in, see if they created contracts that got digitized, and you can find them that way.
And I'm going to say this, and I can just say it for the research that I do. 9 times out of 10, the person hiring formerly enslaved people are the formerly enslaver.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So, but if you don't know, you need to do a little bit more research.
And a good way to find those is on the 1870 census, right? Start looking at all
to the 1870. Right. But you
seeing
can
who's the
also go to
landowners and-
1860.
Yeah, that's true. And go to the slave schedules.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I just put Freedmen's Bureau, and again, says 120. So let's see. How do I get back out there? I got my click. Did I make it to? I might not be all the way. Okay, apply filter. So this should take Egbert into, because I filtered to the collection. So, and I'm still in full text search. So you can see his name is going to start showing up. Freedmen's Bureau endorsement. So that means there's some letters in here.
Cool.
Record of field offices for the state of Virginia. This man was a judge.
Yeah,
So
he's going
I
to be
know-
everywhere in those records. Yeah.
Yes, but he did do labor contracts. There's 120 here. Now I could have put another name, but I have found not to put too much in the search box
Mhm.
and spend more time doing this, the
Yeah.
120, because I could miss a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
could miss a lot. And I could have put the word labor in there, up in quotations or whatever. So here he is, records. There's some contract in place, no year found, And again, interesting. So see, I would sit here and look at all of them.
Yeah.
I just do.
Yeah.
And I find if I put too much in the search
Yeah.
boxes, I'm limited. So,
Yeah.
any questions?
I was going to
Any
say, I
questions?
have found, I don't know about you, but I have found that if I stick with trying to put the names of the white people in there, the enslavers,
Yeah.
I get the lists of who they've contracted with, because sometimes we don't have
I'll show you a
the
labor
names. The
contract.
names might be there, like in a will,
Yeah.
or something like that. But and then they're not written. A lot of them on the contracts, their spelling's different, or just their X mark. They don't have the last name a lot of times, and so I find them easier if I go through the enslaver.
Yeah, I'm
And
going
see who
to
he's
actually
contracted. Yeah.
go to I'm going to show a labor contract, and that'll be the last record
yeah.
I share. Virginia.
While you're doing that, I guess my challenge with full text sometimes is I don't know I guess you have to just play around with it. What do you put in the keywords, and what do you put a name in the keywords, or do you put the name in the name? It's like, and you kind of have to play around.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to find a married couple or something, or you maybe
Right.
put one name up in keywords and another name.
It's the search. I'm going to say it's playing around.
Yeah.
It's a nice
If it doesn't
addition.
show up on one, yeah.
It's a nice addition. It's a game changer.
Oh,
you know, and I research both enslaved and free and white.
Mhm.
Always. I can't do one without the other. I do have a research area, which is 9 counties. Because the transactions, and because of where Jefferson's in the middle, and then there's 8 counties that touch the county that he's in, which is Albemarle, Monticello.
Yeah.
He's the founder of UVA. So all of that has to connect to who's around him, be it family, friends, whatever, business partners. So I'm going to show you this right quick. And so I did my Google, did FamilySearch Virginia Freedmen's Bureau. And let me see, it says collection. I don't know. Yeah. So what I do here is I don't start here. I go down here. I want to browse 197,862 images. No panic. That brings me to this.
So you're browsing because they might not be showing up in the full text search. Is that what you're saying? Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
I'm like, why are we browsing if we could just go to full text search? Because sometimes it doesn't show you everything.
Of it is, sometimes you might have to do both.
Yep, exactly. That was my point.
So here's row 67. We're in Charlottesville, and it's Albemarle County, and it's at that assistant, sub-assistant commissioner level. So you can see for this field office, they had row 65, 66, and 67. So you can look at the variety. Now, the register of complaints and all of that, love it. Because
Oh,
you're
yes.
now getting community people,
Yeah.
you know, proceedings of the court. But this is contracts and indentures because you had orphan children. I mean, total chaos. We're talking about after the war.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to the thumbnail. So I think you want to do both, to respond to Jenny. And I'm actually not going to go to a handwritten one. I'm going to go to one that's got typed so we can read it and see it. Here's one. And so, and again, I'm not looking at these, didn't know what I was going to show. But here, and I tell people when you're looking at labor contract, and not just this collection, anyone, you're looking for date, who's the parties involved, what's the location, who's doing what and how much, and who's the witnesses.
Right.
And then what's the next step? You know, you as researchers. So they're identifying the first part of the second part. So right here it's saying Richard Jackson and his wife Jane and Mary L. Garth, right, of the second part. So one of them is hiring and the other one is being hired. Until you keep reading, you might not know. For me, I'm also going to question, well, okay, Mary Garth, are you a former slaveholder of Richard Jackson and his wife? So then that starts a whole nother research. But I'm also going to research Mary Garth and get her line because sometimes system here, there's connections. Mary Garth could have got Richard from her father as a gift in marriage.
Right.
But I have to research Mary's family and get that set and then go looking for Richard Jackson. The first record would be 1870 because that's the closest and the first census record, you know, so forth that you know, African Americans that were formerly enslaved show up. And some of these might even say former slave of on there. And then you got to go mine. Yes.
Now, Shelley, I've got a question for you. So you find them, you find people in these records, and this, you know, it shows you there they didn't take upon the last name of their enslaver because
not everybody did.
They wrote that last name on there. But another important thing is you can find them with one last name in the Freedmen Bureau, but by the time the census a few years later came out, they've chosen a different last name.
But so they also can choose a different first name.
Exactly. And so
that's why you do community research.
That's what I was going to say. That's why it's community and where they were living and who they were living by, because I found that. And it's like, are these the same people? I think so.
So look at this. We're in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, but look at where they're going to be working.
Montgomery County, Maryland.
Yes. So again, you want to do that. You want to stick to your GPS. The genealogical proof standards of and I call it so what when I do it for Maggie and stuff, I call it so what. So I'm questioning everything. Okay, well, what's the connection? Did the man have more than one or whoever it is? You know, because he's hiring a family. Richard Terrell, wife Betsy, and a son Wilson. Look what you can do with that. Hop to 1870, but you also want to hop back to the 1860 regular census or the slave schedule and so forth. And again, it's going to tell them what they're doing. You know,
in both places too, right? Because he was not working, he was going to Maryland. So you're going to want to look at both places, right?
But he could have had a plantation both places.
That's what I'm saying. So you're going to look at both places, right?
So,
wow, that is so cool. That is
so
so
just
great.
know there's not just Black people in there.
Oh no.
The other thing you got is the letters. So people like coming for rations, you're going to see Black, white, Native American, everybody. And again, federal collection. So I hope people will take that away. You just got to go look. We got receipts of food rations where it said white soldier, wife and child, soldier got killed. She's going for food rations.
Wow.
And it identified her with the name and the husband's name.
Yeah. And sometimes this is just labeled as a record for African Americans. And it's just
that's why I want to get here.
Yeah, because everybody was suffering,
Yes.
everybody was suffering. And so everybody needed help. It's just
and total
amazing.
chaos
And absolutely total chaos. Exactly. So Shelley, have all the records from the Freedmen's Bureau, the bank, I mean, all those records, has it all been digitized?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Virginia's field offices are the only ones that completely were indexed and they're online. But Smithsonian has the transcription project going on now.
Okay.
People can volunteer. One of the things I recommend is that people sign up and do volunteer transcribing, because this is how you understand these records and you learn about the records.
Okay.
And I do it called from the page. And it's different states. It's all over.
We'll put the link on.
Yeah, you got the link from the page. And you just go pick the state. And I do Library of Virginia's papers just because the majority of my research is there. Renata Yarborough Sanders does North Carolina.
Yes.
So there's projects, but I use that as a training tool. You go in and start learning how to transcribe. It will help you.
Exactly. Shelley, I have another question. So if I go onto FamilySearch and I'm looking at, or if I go into the mapping, the Freedmen's Bureau, and I go and I click on a link and I'm only seeing one record, one short little tiny record, it's got like 3 pages in it for a county or location that I'm looking. Is that all that's there, or has it just not been done yet?
It might not be done, or that's all that's there. And I'm going to say that because I'm in Fluvanna County.
Yeah.
They actually had, per se, 2 field offices in this county.
Oh, wow.
But there's only like 18 or 20 records for one. And it's like, wait a minute.
You would think that there would be more, because
there still could be more.
Where, because you can look at the census and you're seeing all these formerly enslaved people listed as farm laborers, and they weren't owning their own land. So they were working for somebody. So
another thing, and this is only to Virginia because I can't speak on the other states.
Okay.
But a lot of times you hit that 1870 census and say you got a white family.
Yes.
And you see a 70 or 80-year-old Black person in that household.
Yeah.
Because, and I believe it was 1705 is the law, you could not sell a slave that didn't have a value, that wasn't worth it. So if they're elderly or disabled, you had to take care of them.
Yeah, take care of them.
And so that's why a lot of time, or it could be a family member. So you just want to figure it out. You just don't know. Exactly. And a lot of times people were raised by, say, a Black family or a woman or whatever. And she's just still part of the family.
She's still part of the family. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just looking at the younger people that are listed as farm laborers and don't owe their land. So they're working for somebody, and you would think that they would have had to have signed a contract, but maybe they didn't, or maybe it just doesn't exist anymore. Something happened to it, or I don't know. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you stop.
No.
because you got to find out. And that's why people contact the courthouses or the local historical societies, and you find out, or the local little public library, and ask them, do they have any records there? Because they might not be scanned up, but those little old folks that work in the library and the historical society, they actually know what's in there.
Sure.
Doesn't mean they just probably hadn't opened that box. But that could also be your big libraries as well. So you need to ask, and I'm going to say the big point for that is on delayed records. You got delayed birth, you got delayed death, but you also have delayed marriage records.
Yeah.
And my second great grandmother, Elizabeth Boyer, married a second time. And she got married in 1865. And she married another widow. So 2 widows marry. She's age 65 and he was like 68 or whatever. The record never showed up online, but it showed up when I went in the courthouse. And I asked Did they have any records called delayed or old records? Because I didn't know if they would know it. We call it delayed records
Exactly.
sometimes.
Exactly.
And so she said yes.
So important to go ask.
And there was
Yeah.
LaDoriana Boyer marrying John Schaefer in Michigan, and she was 65.
Wow.
And I think she was 68.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I love that. That
Yeah.
is so cool. Well, does anybody else have any questions for Shelley? That was so fabulous. And I
That
learned
was
some
fabulous.
things that maybe I need to try differently as I do the search. And yeah, this is an important record set.
Yeah.
You
It
know?
is. 3.7 is not a little. And
No,
we've been
yeah.
doing Freedmen Friday
Yeah.
since February 2020. We really
Wow.
haven't made a dent.
Wow.
And this is every Friday. And
Every
I'm
Friday, and
telling
I'll put
you,
the link. It's
there's
on Facebook. You
60,
can find it.
70 people
Yeah,
all over the country.
exactly.
West Coast comes on at 9:00.
Right. Yeah. When we were in Charleston,
Yes.
we were all there in person. We were in Charleston having the AUGS conference.
AUGS conference.
That's right. Shelley still did Freedman. She gathered everybody. I was so tired because I've been speaking all day. I said, I can't. I got to go to bed. But she gathered people and they did it live in person, plus online as well.
Yeah.
There at the conference. And so it's
Wow.
really an important, turn my camera off for a minute because I went all fuzzy. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, it's important
fun.
the fact that there's a lingering thing that got mystified per se.
Yeah.
And now when you're looking like at these field offices, doesn't mean that the people came from that area. They could have came from the next county.
True.
And came. They could have went where families at. And I'm saying white, black, or whatever. Now, what I'm learning is my folks that were in AKA West Virginia, because it's after the Civil War, they go north. I have not found them in any bureau records because they went north and there's not field offices up there.
Right. They didn't.
So they were in West Virginia.
Gotcha.
And I tracked them. They go to Ohio.
So they're not going to have.
No,
exactly.
but Ohio had a law. You come in there.
Yeah.
You got to register.
Yeah.
You know what? You need to pay $500.
Ooh.
But not all the counties did it. So there's another set of records.
So it's all context and what the laws and all that kind of stuff. Was anybody else got a question for Shelley?
Yeah.
That was so interesting.
Is that enough?
Wow, I learned so much. Yeah.
I
No,
did too,
I think it's great.
Yeah. One last quick example. And I've been looking at her and sometimes I worry, you know how you go to bed and you're still thinking about somebody.
Oh, yes.
There was a record a few years ago, and it was Louisiana Field Office record. And the lady's name was Betsy. And there's only about 6 people in there applying for rations. There were 80-year-olds, a 40-year-old, a 65-year-old, and Miss Betsy was 100.
Oh my goodness.
That record was created in 1867. So back that up.
Wow.
I worry about Miss Betsy. Plus, she had a last name.
She had a last name.
And it listed on the ration record the former enslaver.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that is
so there's a few of us that have been watching over for Betsy, and just wondering if descendants knew about her. That this was in 1867, so she's born before we're the United States.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And then there could be the questions, where did you come from?
Exactly.
Are you the first? Are you not?
It's too bad that nobody did with her being that old, that nobody did a newspaper account. Because you've seen that. You'll see that, the oldest slave, maybe they did. And it's just
looking for last seen. Yeah. And it gave the former slave owner and this, that, and other. So we did some research. We couldn't find anybody coming down. And she had a last name. And it was a French last name.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing. That's amazing.
This is one of my favorite collections because it just covers everybody.
It covers everybody. And I've learned that too. And I'm looking at it not only for people that I'm trying to help connect,
Yeah.
their family with the former enslaver, but to see what records my family may have in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't know. And
But
like
you
I
got
said,
the
I
court
found somebody
cases and
already.
the complaints too.
Yep. Well, I found somebody already, and he was asking for help to feed the people that were working on his land.
Yeah.
And those were his people
They
that
set up schools.
yeah, that he had formerly enslaved.
But
So
the Bureau was a failure, though.
oh, I know.
should say that.
Unfortunately. Well, yeah.
Well, according to, if you look at NARA's site,
Yeah.
even though they helped millions of people,
Yeah.
it was still a failure. And it's a failure because they could have been able to do more. But at the field office level, there was so much violence because now you got the local people white saying, why are you helping these people?
Absolutely.
Even though they were getting help as well.
Exactly.
But NARA's got the statement where there was a report done on the Freedmen's Bureau, and they considered it a failure because of the conditions.
Because of the conditions.
And then also in the local communities.
I figured that's why there's only the couple of records in the place where I'm looking.
Yes.
Because that's right in the heart of,
Yes. So anyway.
Right in the heart of it. So anyway, this has been amazing. And I just want to give everybody a chance. If anybody's got something that they want to say or comment on or ask a question before.
And I do Tennessee Freedmen Bureau records.
Before we say
that archive lady know I'm looking for my Cobb County folks. But you know what I did, Melissa? I'm going to hop into North Carolina. Because
from Tennessee, because it used to be
county.
Right.
I gotta hop into North Carolina.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, this has been fascinating. Yeah. Thank you, Shelley. You've helped me a lot. You've helped me a lot to be able to search these records better and more clearly and understand what I'm doing. I thought I did, but you can always learn, right?
Well, it's trial and error too.
Yeah. Most of our research is trial and error. So if you've been using the Freedmen's Bureau and you've been able to find some records, we would love to hear about what you have found. And if you want to ask Shelley some questions, do, and I'll get them back to her. And, I'm so grateful, Shelley, that you came because we wanted to do something to honor Black History Month. And this was perfect. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime.
And with that, we'll see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.